I'm apparently the only man who has ever given a Beatles concert solo all by myself. This is the meaning of the script calling me the walrus. It's federal and it was military. And they chose me because Jimmy C is like Jimmy Carter. James Curry is my name. I go by Mac because my middle name is McRyland. James McRyland Curry, Scottish, royalist, like Paul McCartney would say. So how did it happen? I gave Revolution number 9 a hot wiretap to a Confederate institution who had targeted me horribly as a child because I was a humanist from the rival school of the University of Pittsburgh. With the blessings of Pitt, don't get me wrong. They kidnapped and tortured me in an elaborate Mysterian operation put together with the help of the parochials, which the line, yeah, sure, tied her up and porked her with a carrot, was a sarcastic remark ingrained in my experience from the sarcasm of people like Donald Trump about what they could get away with. It was an overdub soundtrack that they would say was extruded from my psyche, something they did and told me about. With the help of NEVA Pornographic Corporation. In other words, it was a standard bondage cooperation of consensual threesome from the Midnight Climax crowd, Climate Climb crowd. They pinched it on the persona, to use Pope Carl's wording, the persona's experience by telling me about it. And Zappa Allah, Allah is God, right? Zappa Allah is the district attorney who arranged the wiretap with Jaime Carbonell and Peter Shell. Knowing that they were working with the agency of the NEVA Corporation, Andrea Swimmer knew Terry Visca. She had the same lovers. She was one of the people who had made a joke of kidnapping and torturing me by using me for sex. This is the mentality of these monsters. And so they had this sarcastic ingrained in Revolution number 9, which they made with the help of Gail Burst and Yoko Ono. Whose idea was this? Well, of course, it was the Beatles' idea. It was the Beatles' idea as a juxtaposition against, it's to grade on against the idea of their script, which claimed I could have saved John Lennon. Who's this person who could have saved John Lennon? Snorkeling like Saul Brucker. Yeah, sure, tired of the with a carrot. While Adam Eisenstadt pretends he's Abdul the terrorist on KDKA, disguising his voice from the IDF as a Palestinian. While the Hamas fought the Aeroflot, the Luftwaffe of Hamas came on the storks, like storks, and obliterated the supernova, where the counterculture was annihilated with the help of the Israeli Hellfire machine. Because Paul McCartney was leading the charge that people who had sex out of wedlock were Satanists. They had this horrible yin and yang. They were playing both stories. They're playing the, oh, we represent the victims because John Lennon's spirit died with us, while defending Gail Burson, who wrote the script, while defending Yoko Ono's entourage, who impinge the persona soundtrack so that it could be extruded. So how did I meet Pete Shaw? Pete Shaw was introduced to me. His partner was Brian Milnes, who was a yid of the John Shulman persuasion, who was busted in an $8 million museum heist. I met him through Tom Hodge. Tom Hodge was a friend of Ann Mitchell, J.P. Morgan's granddaughter, who I dated for a while. So she went right to Paul McCartney and said, you know, I know James. James didn't know anything about it, but he's crazy. You know, he's from Pittsburgh. He's the perfect fall guy. He's the perfect sucker. But from the time that they found these letters that they had written, they set up to pretend they found them. Because the people of Pittsburgh ignored the fact that I had been deafened and was in trauma when it was perfectly obvious. It should have been perfectly obvious to everyone. Because they were in on it. They said, we took Jimmy to the car show and gave him a story that he's going to tell for us. Cub Carl used to laugh. Jimmy's going to perform for us. So I performed as the walrus when I coughed up their carrot tape in the Coney Island of my mind. Well, Carbonell broadcasted to Putin, and Brian Eno had it all wired to send to Danny Ortega with help of Peter Shell. And everybody who loves Yoko Ono. And they said, well, Queen died of AIDS. The list of people who use their bodies for a suicide plan is long. Foucault did it. There was a mysterious Freddie at the governor's school. Sean Straub was identified outside the Dakota after I put out a call for help. I said, find somebody from the Green Party who's a Holocaust survivor. Somebody said that matches the description of somebody who was outside the Dakota. Sean is his name. Sean Burst or Straub. Straub. So you see Nosferatu, who was clever. He interlaced the whole plan in Nom de Guerres. Pete's hell gurgled from the exorcist mode. Yeah, sure, it's out up a portrait with the carrot. Mayor Peduto speaks of his hands being tied. Well, what he means is that he knows about the tape, and they know that this was something I had nothing to do with. I wasn't even there when this happened. That the people who did it were having fun, and they told me about it so that this would happen. These were Donald, Mancini, like Manson Cinema, Manson. And these were the people who the Beatles are representing. They want control. They have this powerful lobby of petty yellow Hitlers, roadies from the veteran roadies, who have all the wiring from the data centers, who set up Carnegie Mellon University's infiltration of your. To them, it's nothing to cyber tap every single thing that you do. And what do? They sit around complaining, oh, the police are going to cyber tap everything you're going to do. Huh? And it's like, and yeah, ha, 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 ha. It's like Woody Woodpecker. Na 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 na. And they had a guy from something called Nexus saying, "I don't like the way you laugh." And they were hair splitting. We wonder whether that was a joke. What it was indignation that Peter's show was prompting me. You've been porking anybody lately? Well, Brecker was going, you pork anybody lately? And Brecker was, that's a Breckerism porking. It's not kosher. It's not like Kushner. It's not like a 24 carat. It's a carrot in the stick. It's a pork carrot.